Roger Lynn or Andy Mack? This was a legit real question that somebody asked me. You did not read the title of this video incorrectly. This was a real question that I was asked. Stick around because I'm going to share my thoughts about what I think about both men and their contributions to music. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, YouTube. Hey, if you're new to this channel, go ahead and do me a favor and go ahead and click that subscribe button and click that bell notification so you can be informed whenever I drop new videos, all right? All right, let's get into it. So today's video is not even gonna be long. This was a real question somebody asked. And I had to think a lot about both individuals. I will start with Roger Lynn. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time talking about Roger Lynn's history because I think most people who are familiar with Roger Lynn understands who he is, what he did, and what his contributions to music were and still is, specifically hip-hop music production. But I'll say this. Roger Lynn entered this space in the mid to late 80s and created a device known as the Akai MPC 60. I was fortunate to be able to own one, not back then, in the early 2000s. And the device was phenomenal. It was 12-bit lo-fi, I believe. There was nothing like that machine. Then comes the 60 Mark II, and then finally the coveted MPC 3000 that everybody still loves to this day. So I would say Roger Lynn, as an architect, one, designing all of the layout for it and all of the components that went inside of these machines to make them sound like what they sounded like. The 16 pads that we all know and love today all were designed by this guy. Even this MPC 4000, although this device came out post Roger Lynn, the layout of it, these 16 squares, are still attributed to his genius. Even after leaving Akai and, working on his own individual drum machines and the things that he's been doing ever since. So Roger Lynn is definitely gonna go down as the GOAT when it comes to drum machines and sound and all of that stuff, right? It's not lost upon me that when it comes to hip hop music, he gave them the tool to get out of their head sounds and those thoughts that they had into a drum machine and chop it up and, sequence it and do all these things and make it sound like a song. So that's Roger Lynn. Andy Mack, again, I'm not gonna run down Andy Mack's, entire, life story. That's what Google is for. Same thing goes for Roger Lynn. For those that don't know either one of these men, which I would kind of find silly that y'all don't know who both of these men are. Google.com is your friend. Andy Mack, I tend to look at more as a product specialist, but he's probably the best product specialist and the best product teacher. This man's understanding of the technology and the tools that go into these new MPCs and then is able to teach you those things and how to use certain features is second to nobody. They hit a gold mine when they found this guy. So I would say Andy Mack is to this new generation of MPCs what Roger Lynn was to the old generation of MPCs that he created. Both men, to me, these are two totally different men that we're talking about, two totally different contributions to this same company. Roger Lynn is much more of a technical architect / engineer who also happened to be a musician and understand what he wanted out of a device. Andy Mack is less of a technical engineer, but more of a product specialist who understands what he's using, knows how to market it to you, knows how to teach it to you, and also makes great music with it as well. So I don't look at both men the same, but I do think value in their contributions to this company, Akai, that we all know and love, is pretty much equal to me at this point. I know that's going to upset a lot of y'all. There's a lot of people who legit don't think anybody else is better than Roger Linn when it comes to contributions to the MPC device. Totally understand and get why you would say that. However, I would say the same for Andy Mack. I don't think that there's a better Akai product specialist / teacher / music performer in the last 10 years for this company or longer than Andy Mack. I think Andy Mack's contribution to music as a whole is well received. Whenever you see Andy Mack out, whether you see him at NAMM or you see him anywhere, he's recognizable. People know who he is. So what do I ultimately think about who has made the best or who has had the better contribution to Akai as a company as it relates to the MPC? I think both. I don't put one over the other because I understand that these are two totally different men in two totally different eras of music with two totally different devices in two totally different Akai companies. Y'all got to remember, Akai has been sold. They've been sold at least 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody check that out for me. But I believe that they've been sold 3 times. So this same Akai company that Andy Mack is a part of isn't the same Akai that Roger Linn was a part of. The company is still the company, and they still are producing MPC devices. I think at a point in time, Roger Linn was the guy. I think in present day, Andy Mack is the guy. This is one of those questions where I kind of struggle with it at first because it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But I figured I'd chime in with my thoughts. I've learned from both men. Andy Mack has been that dude for this company for over a decade, if not longer, but definitely over a decade. So I don't think, I don't think the scale tips either way. I do think when it comes to legacy, when it's all said and done, I think both men will be right there on top of the Mount Rushmore when it comes to Akai. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. I know this is going to be a heated conversation, or maybe not, but let me know what y'all think. And you tell me who you think has been the biggest contributor to Akai as a company and the MPC brand, whether it's Roger Linn or Andy Mack. All right, to the next one.